I'm a dressage horse rider in Singapore. It's a bit difficult for me to settle here. I think it's quite of a mentality where people feel like that's very small and one more professional here is going to take away business. I think the mentality has to be like, as more the product we can give to the final consumer, that is our clients, our students, is a better product.
Hi, I'm Yana and you're watching Yana TV, and today we have a very unusual guest with very unusual profession, especially for Singapore. Luis, when did you come to this part of the world?
I came the first in August 2022. I came for a trial 3 months, and then I like how the life is here.
So tell us about the company, since I announced you have an unusual profession, which I think you do, especially for Singapore. So what it is that you do?
Yeah, I'm an equestrian actually. So I'm a horse rider instructor. Like I started as a horse rider, professional horse rider. And with the years, I start to get a bit more knowledge. And then I'm here more as an instructor than as a rider. And I contact like with EFS, that is the federation, the Singapore Equestrian Federation. And to come here to make a plan, let's see, 2 years to have training to develop like the NEC Center, that is the National Equestrian Center.
Why did you choose Singapore? You could have gone to any other places around the world to do this job.
Yeah, actually I could have been, and I've been in many other places. I've been living in Portugal, in Spain, in Mexico, in Germany, in Denmark. I've been for a few months in Taiwan. And when I decided to come to Singapore, I had the opportunity to go to Doha or to Singapore. That was like the two places I had a door open to go. So now I was always more attracted by the Asian culture, and it's not my first Asian country. And then also one of the things I was like since long time ago, very curious about this country, how a country like Singapore in a social economic way, how they grow that much the last 50 years, 60 years. And I was like really, really curious, and I wanted to see with my eye.
So since you arrived here, you're now working here, you're living here. So what did you observe?
I mean, in my industry, in my area, like professional area, it's a country who didn't develop yet.
Mm-hmm. So it's like kind of up and coming, right?
Yeah. It has too much room to grow. And in like in the economic and political way, I think like the politicians here make an attractive country for external investors come here and help to develop the country. The way they focus on the business, on the make easy to make business here.
That's absolutely true. That's also that I've been in Singapore now for 15 years.
Yeah.
And that's also Singapore changed a lot in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's becoming sort of more and more, I would say, to the future focus, and wants to have all those people who develop something for the future. Tell us about your industry. I love horses.
Yeah.
And I know nothing about horses.
No, but that's fine.
So, and Singapore is a very, very small place. So I'm sure many people, especially probably that don't even live in Singapore, would even be surprised that there are so many opportunities here to ride horses, and there are horse stables, and there are different clubs. So it's all part also of the infrastructure, even though there's not much space here. So when you say that the industry is like in your work, it is still developing, like what do you mean?
I mean, let's say I still very new here. I couldn't go very deep into the industry, but somehow what I could see myself is like here there are like three different industries with the horses, like really, really clear. One is the racing, one is the polo, and the other is the equestrian, dressage and jumping. My area is the equestrian. I'm a dressage horse rider. I don't do jumping. Somehow the polo is
Dressage. It's when horses do this.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. It's like teach the horses some exercises that afterward you have to perform in the arena with the judges who tell you if you did right, if your horse is doing right or not. It's not like clear in a jumping or in a race. The one who cross first is the winner, or the one who jump without drop any fence is the winner. That is clear. In my part, it's more about art. Oh, you like it, and depends always on someone's opinion. But anyways, the racing is gonna close in Singapore, so it will become just the polo sport and the equestrian sport in Singapore, and it's quite small country, small industry. It's a bit difficult. Was a bit difficult for me to settle here in a way. Like I think it's quite of a mentality where people feel like that's very small, and one more professional here is gonna take away business. So that in that sense is very protective.
So local people were not particularly thrilled that here you are showing up and trying to take someone's
but also
job.
there are some foreigners here doing what I do. So and I feel like okay, some make me feel a bit more welcome than others, but somehow doesn't mean it's only Singaporeans who feels triggered, or it's like they feel the cake is already
very small, right?
And they don't want to share with no one else. But anyways, I think the mentality has to be like as more competitors to, and then like the product we can give to the final consumer, that is our clients, our students, is a better product. But that's my way to think. I come from like in Germany, for example, I've been for 8 years, and that is like you open a door, or you like, we have the expression in Spain, like you leave a stone and shows up like 5 riders,
yes, everywhere
there are riders, and that's make you work harder to have a space in the industry. And the professionals helps other professionals. Even like when I needed help from other professionals, most of the time they didn't charge me money, and I've been doing the same with another professionals who comes to me to ask me for help. I help them like the same as someone else did it to me. It's quite like an open thing. And if you see like in that sport, Germany is one of the greatest countries, like in international, in Olympics, all of that's the ones who are more successful.
In terms of when you're saying that competition is good, it's good to have a lot of people, and sort of the healthy competition to give opportunity to people then to get better at their art.
And also like when for the amateur people, for example, the competitions they go, they lower the standards for the people who is very, very beginner. And then they start to have these wanting to go to compete. And somehow it's not about to have always like the higher standards who make it. No, I mean, to the professionals ones, you should ask for higher standards. But then the other ones, you have to help them to get there. Sometimes you have to make it easy for them to be able to build from the bottom, who starts to build up their levels to go to competition and stuff. In Singapore, like, is not many people riding because of the space, and that's make it extremely expensive.
Do you have to be a member of a particular club, and then you have to buy license? It is like 100,000 or something?
Not license, you don't have. You hear something is quite the same direction, but not 100,000.
Okay.
Okay, like for example, NEC, the National Equestrian Center, is a center, is not a club. It belongs to the government somehow, so you don't need to be member to ride over there.
Mhm.
You can go get lessons, as many lessons you have as those you pay, and that's it. Also, our facilities are not the best facilities and anything, but you don't need to be member. There is
But
no
it's not the most
membership.
expensive ones, right? So I
Of
guess
course,
that's the
there is
thing.
no membership to pay. You can get lessons. We have horses at the center that you can rent to have lessons or rent to go on competition in the competition days. And the other centers, so the other clubs are clubs like Polo Club or Turf Club or Bucatima Saddle Club that you need to be a member. I can't tell you the prices, and yeah, I know you have to buy a membership and then you have to pay every month, but they have their facilities. They have a swimming pool, tennis court, gym that you, if you are a member, you can go and use.
Access full facility.
Yeah.
Who are the people who usually come and ride horses?
We have many kind of people, many kind locals, foreigners, children, adults, every kind. No matter, it can be a lawyer, a teacher in school, children who is in school. Many kinds of profiles. There is no one profile, and more in Singapore. You know how these are very have too much
Diversity.
diversity in Singapore, and yeah, it's like every kind of person people comes to ride, and there are like people who start from the bottom, doesn't know anything, they come to us, oh, I would like, is my dream, and this and that. And also people who comes from other countries, oh, I was riding in my country, I'm here since 2 years ago, and now I have the time.
Expats, yeah.
Have the time, I would like to come, and they're really good riders. And so yeah, every kind of people comes to join our lessons in.
So you spent so many years working with horses. I mean, most and people, but first with horses.
Yeah.
And so my question would be, what was your biggest lesson just interacting with these animals?
Oh, you are always learning from them. In the end, you get like a sixth sense, because somehow it's like what I do, what we riders, trainers do, is training the horses physically to have the best performance. But in the end of the day, they are like us, and they have their moods. It's not like many people used to compare our sport as I don't know, a motorcycle or car or a cyclist, or but no, like the horse is not our tool, is our colleague in the sport, and they have their mood. Also, like there are not two horses the same. Some of them are better inside, some of them are not that
like
clear.
People, right?
Like people, exactly like people.
So you mean character, just a natural, like a DNA character.
Yeah, that's exactly. And then you have to learn, like a psychologist, to get the best of that horse and which way I can get the best from him. And it has to be like interacting to him. In the end, you have to learn their language. For they can understand you, and also, and almost more important, you can understand them. Like today I can't press you so much because I can see you are not in.
You are edgy, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's not like because you're gonna hurt me or not. It's not fair for them. The same is it's not fair for you if somebody asks you something today and you can give tomorrow maybe better. And that person maybe can wait for tomorrow to get the best version of what he requires from you. So in the end of the day, we have to go in their mind and try to interact to them, like speak their language.
Do you think it's transferable to humans, like skills that you learn when you interact with horses? Like, for example, like a very famous horse therapy, right? It's a very famous just thing. I'm not sure if I don't actually know if Singapore even offers that or not. So, but what do you think about horse therapy?
Yeah, I think it's a good way. I guess that is not the only way, but I think it's really good because like somehow horses also have that sense to interact with people with special needs that are in Singapore. Like we have some healing horses also in NEC. It's not so big, but just beside NEC there are a center who is RDA and they give that service. I also am not so into what's the way to approach them or how it works, but they fully give that service.
So let's say if you train a horse to do something and you have to, it's a huge animal. I mean, you have to interact and it has its own mind, it has its own moods. So I wonder skills that you pick up through this, are they useful dealing with people?
I mean, it's completely different. And somehow, like, not every day, but many days I get the opinion like, I rather deal with horses than with people. Than with people. Yeah, but somehow it's about the same. It's trying to read the person the same as you read the horse. Like this horse, I can't push him that way. There are persons you cannot push them that way, or this horse today is not the day. The same with persons, and like you somehow learn to feel the energy and feel to like learn to feel the energy in which people. Of course, I mean I'm better reading horses than reading
humans.
I'm better than because with people many times I'm wrong. I think they are one way and they are another way. But anyways, I always believe in humans. But somehow it gives you like that sense to like somehow read people, feel the energy of the people.
And then probably also makes you like really fine-tuned to the emotions, right? Like emotional intelligence and just the state of the person, non-verbal communication, because horses, I mean, don't really talk, right? It's not really what you say. It's how you are. It's how you move, how you look at the person.
Yeah, I mean, there are things it's a bit different from horse to horse, but there are things how they express themselves, the way they have their ears, how they stand in their legs, if their head is too high or too low. If there are many things which are clear, like has a meaning. Yeah, but that is something you can see. Everybody can see. The head is like this, but sometimes the head is like this, but the energy is not like the meaning of the thing. You know what I mean? So in the end, you learn to feel the energy of the horse, and you have to give that also like the energy to the horse, understand what's going on with you.
Well, I saw those videos where sometimes people ride horses without, whatever you call this in English.
Right.
Yes. And they say it's like a mental command. Like you tell horses left and the horse just turns left. You tell it right, it turns right.
Somehow it's a mental command, but somehow, I mean, it's a mental command. But in the end of the day, like you don't have telepathy with your horse. You have contact with your body. And somehow those cases happen when horses got already certain age. They have been ridden there are people who can train just that way. But somehow that's possible with almost every horse who have a good rider. Like when I say good rider, someone who is calm and is not is well fed with the horse and stuff. And after many years, to speak always to speak always the same language, the same orders, somehow you can take away the tools from the communication. The same as you with someone really long time ago.
That's what I mean. Exactly.
You look at them and they
know what they think.
You know what's going on in there. And with the horse is about the same thing. It's not telepathy, and he cannot look at you, but he can feel you. You are sitting on there. But sometimes when you say, "Oh, with my brain, I think go to left," but when your brain think go to left, your body also gets in a left position. Okay. It's like the horse felt that in their back many times. that becomes like with small details, like a feeling here, that he knows what's coming, and then he do. Sometimes you need to tell things so loud and explain many things, and some other things you just look at the person knows what
and you
you
know
want,
exactly what's going
and
on.
you don't need even to speak. So the reins are away.
We have been talking about the industry, right?
Yeah.
You also said that, I mean, you kind of started with this. I mean, okay, it's small, it is still developing. Given that Singapore is small in terms of territory as a country, what do you think would be the best future for the industry development?
I would like to see Singapore being successful in international competitions.
So what does it take to get there?
And that requires, like, the first, you have to want, of course, and you have to want, and it's a really hard work. Second, you need a big investment for that, because goes on international competitions is not cheap. Buy horses who can be successful in international competitions is not cheap. Train with the trainers who's gonna bring you on the higher positions in international is also not cheap. Like, you have to want, and you have to be willing to give the economic, the emotional, and the physical effort that needs to be there. But somehow that doesn't, that what in my area, that sees like the questions as a sport in high level, but that starts from the basic. Have people coming to our center to riding, to learn how to ride. And then, of course, there will be like a few people who will be willing to give that extra economic, physical, and emotional effort to fight in that big competition.
Well, I'm looking forward to see how it's going to unfold. So let's see, right? So you never know. And again, as I said, that maybe right now it is not, a priority. Priorities could change. It's still there, and there are still people who are doing that. You are here, so you're doing your job. You're the one who is also having this vision. And maybe the final question for today. So since again we're in Singapore and you're here, what is your favorite part about Singapore at the moment?
Oh, there are many. I mean, it's not just one thing. The world is not white or black. There are many gray spots in different intensities, and there are many things. I think, like, the people. Of course, there are better and not that better people everywhere, but the people in Singapore I really like. The food is something like really important for me. I think after riding, food is my favorite thing. I can travel looking for food, and here is an amazing country. And like I said, the people I have really, I found really good friends every time I travel around the world. Like, life put in my way such an amazing people. Like, I'm so glad to have come to Singapore. I was meant to meet those persons, to have them in my life. So yeah, I think people and food is the two best things.
Much. Thank you. And that was Luis on Yana TV today. We're talking about horses and horse riding and the industry, people and horses, and everything else around what it means to move actually Singapore and to be an expert here. And of course, as Luis said, people are everything. So I would love to hear from you guys, especially from our audience. If you've been watching all other videos, comment below, let us know what do you think about this. Are you the one who is riding horses or not? So I'd love to connect. And we are very grateful to New Studio for hosting Yana TV. So thank you for doing that. Remember, subscribe to the show, share episode with friend, and I'm going to see you next time. I take a deep breath. I will say a few words on my camera, then I turn to you, and I will ask the first question.
Yeah, okay? Of course.
I need my deep breath.